Do you like fuzz? Cool, so do I. Beetronics was nice enough recently to send over 5 of their equally complex and amazing pedals for me to show you in what is now the 6-string TV fuzz pedal bonanza. This should be fun. Today's pedal lineup consists of the Beetronics Swarm, Vespa, Octahive V2, Zombie, and the newest addition to the Beetronics roster, the Nectar. Now, real quick, full disclosure, I'm not receiving any money to make this video. This isn't sponsored per se. Beetronics was nice enough to send these pedals out to me to make this video with. I will be sending at least 3 of them back after the video. I'll probably be keeping 1 or 2 just because of how much I like them, but not sponsored. All my opinions are mine. I'm sending the pedals back. They're not giving me money. Onto the video. Now, I've gone and grabbed a spare pedal board to put all of these on, and we're going to be taking a look and a listen one by one, starting with this baby right here, the Zombie. Now, as far as at least the functionality of this thing goes, it's absolutely core classic Beetronics, because when I think Beetronics, I think pedals with manuals larger than some other pedals I own. And it genuinely took me at least a week and a half to feel confident that I've tamed this magic beast enough to record with it, but that time has come, so let's get into it. Now, they call this thing a filtremulator, which is fun, and the effects that it contains include, but are not limited to, excuse me for reading this off my laptop over there, a wah, LFO, randomized filter, tremolo, cross tremolo, swell, overdrive, fuzz, and low octave. And I feel like this thing might be more geared towards keyboard players, but you can get some pretty screwed up high-gain guitar tones out of it as well. So I am going to go into more detail on the other pedals, but as far as this one goes, there's a bunch of switches on it and a bunch of knobs, and really all I do is kind of mess around with them until I achieve a tone that sounds good. There's a bunch of presets on it, and if you hold this knob on the right, there's even more presets on it, so this one acts as sort of a bank 2 type switch, so whenever I hold this down and do anything, it has a different function than if I just twist the knobs or switch the switches regularly. It's a very, very complicated pedal, and this is one of the ones that I will be keeping after the video, meaning there will be many, many more hours of my life invested into trying to crack the code on how to actually use this thing properly, probably only to find that yes, it is just this complicated, and I am too stupid to use it. So rather than attempting to explain this thing to you, I'm just gonna play. Our second and final, rather large pedal of the evening is the Swarm. This thing is a fuzz harmonizer which, through a process that I couldn't explain at gunpoint but CS Guitars probably could, layers 9 harmonies across 2 different octaves on top of your signal. Now that sounds cool and all, but it wouldn't be a Beetronics pedal if it wasn't somehow even more ridiculous, so instead of keeping those 9 harmonies intact, it now layers so much modulation on top of them that it becomes incoherent. But as stated on the actual Beetronics website, it's much easier for me to show you than to tell you. So the worker knob down here in the middle controls your input level, pretty standard stuff. Moving on to the species knob up here in the middle, that controls God knows what, probably the interval harmonies. Harmony intervals. Fuck you. Drone and Queen up here control the level of each of the 2 octaves, and Sting and Flight down here control the amount of modulation that's layered over each of those octaves. So you can quickly go from fairly moderate modulation to just sounding completely drunk. Finally, a simple one, at least sort of. So, the Vespa, famously used by Cory Wong on his track, well, Vespa, is basically just a fuzz. It has two modes, fuzz and stinger, and a volume and a sustain control. But just to Beetronics it up a little bit for you, the foot switch is not just a bypass switch. It is if I just tap it once, like so, and it turns it off and on. If I tap it twice, it switches fully between either of the two modes, and then if I hold it for long enough, it switches momentarily for as long as I'm holding it between the two modes, and if I let go, it goes back to the initial one. Using the sustain control, you can get sort of whammy-esque with it, or you can just use it to play some fat riffs. And to nobody's surprise, I prefer the fat riffs. The Octahive V2. This thing, as the name kind of sort of semi-reveals, is an octave fuzz pedal, and it's sort of supposed to sound like the 70s tone of, say, like a Jimi Hendrix Octavio pedal, but smoother, more modern, and more ridiculous. And as you can tell by the V2 in the name of it, this is actually the new and improved version of itself. It's got a pre-gain, a gain, and a volume knob, a buzz and an octave mode, and the same smart foot switch as the Vespa to switch between them. And with this one, you can even choose one of 3 profiles for the smart foot switch to set how quickly it momentarily switches over to the other respective mode once you hold it down, which is undoubtedly overkill, but that's Beetronics for you. Let's hear it. Last but not least, Beetronics' most recent release, the Nectar. This is probably Beetronics' most versatile pedal yet, in this small form factor that is, but it's simultaneously the easiest introduction to Beetronics, so if you were just looking to get into Beetronics effects but didn't know which one to get first, this is the one I'd recommend. It's got an OD and a fuzz mode, again, same smart foot switch situation, volume, gain, EQ knobs, and it pairs beautifully with pretty much any rig. And while on the outside it might just seem like another overdrive or fuzz pedal with a fancy design, the absolute range of tones you can get with this thing is unparalleled and fucking asinine. So let's just start a little more mellow. And move to a little less mellow. So, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you to Beetronics for sending the pedals over. I'm definitely keeping the zombie and the nectar. That is not up for debate. I hope you're watching this. I will not give these back to you. You can get your own Beetronics pedals, hopefully still in time for Christmas, depending on when this video goes up, through the affiliate links in the description. And if you buy anything through those links, you'll also simultaneously be supporting the channel at no additional cost. So, thank you for watching. My most recent video is somewhere over here. Subscribe somewhere over there. All my links in the description. Thank you for watching. See you around. Goodbye. Hit the bell and stuff. Goodbye.